Well, I'm back with yet another awesome roller coaster video for you people. Today I just got this feeling inside me that said, oh, I should do a roller coaster countdown video. And then I just spent one whole hour in the morning thinking about my roller coaster video idea. And then I thought, aerodynamics. So in this video I'm gonna be ranking the best roller coasters from this legendary pioneer of a roller coaster manufacturer. And as many roller coaster enthusiasts know, aerodynamics is no more, sadly. And now in terms of rankings, I'm going to do the traditional top 10 spots. So we got 10 different aerodynamics roller coasters here. And let me just say there's some really interesting roller coasters in my list, and also some ones you might think should be in this list, but no. Yes, I'm talking to you, big one. And I will not be including standing but not operating roller coasters, so rest in peace, Big Bad Wolf. And now let's get into this top 10 list. Now coming in at spot number 10, we got Matterhorn Bobsleds located at Disneyland. And well, this roller coaster attraction really has some awesome history. And Matterhorn Bobsleds consists of two different roller coaster tracks going around each other in this man-made mountain. And both of these roller coaster tracks stand 80 feet tall. And their total roller coaster track length are just over 2,000 feet, but the right side actually has 100 feet more, but that doesn't really matter. And this roller coaster opened all the way back in 1959. And these Matterhorn Bobsleds were the first roller coasters to feature these steel tubular tracks created by aerodynamics. And yeah, this roller coaster just delivers endless fun. You have some high-speed twisted turns and the scenery is just on point. And yeah, this coaster can be a bit rough and janky, but you know it's very old. But in terms of comfort, these roller coaster trains are actually quite comfy. And when Matterhorn Bobsleds opened back in 1959, the roller coaster trains were only one cart with 4 riders. But then in 1978 they changed that to 2 carts with 4 riders in each. And then in 2012 they also got some trains with 3 carts total. Now coming in at spot number 9, we got Loch Ness Monster located at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. And yeah, Loch Ness Monster is part of the classic custom looping roller coaster model created by aerodynamics, of course. This iconic roller coaster opened all the way back in 1979, and Loch Ness Monster was actually the first roller coaster in the world to feature interlocking loops. And yeah, this old looping roller coaster has also undergone some serious refurbishment work. And in 2018 these aerodynamic trains were replaced by new trains from S&S Worldwide. And Premier Rides actually retracked this roller coaster back in 2023, so it's glossy smooth right now. And yeah, this roller coaster layout on Loch Ness Monster is pretty weird because you have a 130 feet tall lift hill and then you have an awesome drop down to the lake at 114 feet. Then the roller coaster turns around and flies into the first inversion, but after that the roller coaster travels a lot around, goes through a tunnel and then up a lift hill yet again before going into the last inversion. And yeah, this roller coaster does have some dead spots, but the strong positive G-force heavy vertical loops and the awesome scenery makes up for it. And now coming in at spot number 8, we got Excalibur located at Valley Fair. And yeah, I really need to be honest about Excalibur because this roller coaster just looks like an aero mine train on steroids. Excalibur opened all the way back in 1989, and the roller coaster has this hybrid track where you have the wooden structure and the steel track. And this coaster stands an impressive 100 feet tall and has an even larger drop coming in at 105 feet. This coaster reaches a maximum speed of 54.5 miles per hour, but the track length is only 2,400 feet. And even though Excalibur features a trim drop, I can still feel a bit of airtime in the back row. This roller coaster is just intense and pretty weird in terms of layout because the roller coaster flies through an overbank. It feels aggressive and janky but yet awesome. This low to the ground bank turn is yet again aggressive and filled with speed, and then you fly into the best element on the coaster, this twisted airtime hill with a lot of airtime, yes. But sadly, after a drawn out turn and a shallow airtime hill, this roller coaster experience is done. Now coming in at spot number 7, we got Revolution located at Pleasure Beach Resort. And yeah, the so-called Pleasure Beach Resort is the former Blackpool Pleasure Beach. I've recently done a roller coaster rankings video about this park where I put the big one over Revolution, but now I changed my mind. This roller coaster experience is way better. And yeah, Revolution is a very rare shuttle launched looping coaster made by Aero. And this shuttle loop coaster model is really a dying breed, and this roller coaster opened all the way back in 1979. And yeah, even though the launches aren't really that punchy, they just feel like a big push. These drops down into the vertical loop are just filled with crazy airtime. The airtime on these drops are just crazy, and the vertical loop is very forceful. Once you go through this short layout the first time, you got a backward section, and that is even as intense as the first first section. This coaster can be a bit rough, but I've ridden B&M coasters that are way worse. And yeah, the only reason Revolution comes in at spot number 7 is because of the short length. Now coming in at spot number 6 we got Gemini located at Cedar Point. And now Gemini for me is just the bigger brother of Excalibur at Valley Fair. Gemini opened all the way back in 1978, and yet again we got this hybrid looking roller coaster track with wooden structure and steel track. And what's awesome about this roller coaster type is that we got the dueling aspect right here. And Gemini actually stands pretty tall. This roller coaster has a height of 125 feet, and we have a very lengthy ride experience coming in at 3,935 feet. And on top of that, at the bottom of the first drop you reach 60 miles per hour. So what does Gemini offer in terms of ride experience? Let me tell you, all of the drops on this roller coaster layout are the main experience, because in the back row you get a lot of airtime. And yeah, even though you have these long drawn out turns, they are not dead spots, because you have the other roller coaster train racing by, and then you can give the other person's high five. And yeah, this roller coaster just offers a very lengthy roller coaster experience that is filled with airtime. And yeah, this one can't really be an aero roller coaster without being rough, so this coaster is also pretty janky. Now coming in at spot number 5 we got Bat at Kings Island. And yeah, this is the first and only suspended roller coaster by Aerodynamics you will see on this list. And to be honest, this really is my personal favorite. This suspended roller coaster opened all the way back in 1993. And the roller coaster layout on Bat can be described as short, punchy and aggressive. Bat only features a track length of 2,352 feet. The maximum height of the coaster is 78 feet, but it reaches a maximum speed of 51 miles per hour, and that is quite impressive in terms of these old aero suspended coasters. And what really makes this coaster experience awesome is the high speed twists and turns. It almost feels like the roller coaster train is falling off. And the scenery also makes the ride experience feel faster, because the ride just flies between these trees. Sadly, the ride experience is overall just too short. And now coming in at spot number 4 we got Tennessee Tornado located at Dollywood. And speaking of short roller coaster layouts, we got yet another one right here, because Tennessee Tornado only has a track length of 2,680 feet. And that really isn't much compared to the size of this aero looping coaster, because the height is 163 feet, but we only have a short drop coming in at 128 feet. And while Tennessee Tornado just features an awesome roller coaster layout, first of all you have this drop through the tunnel and into a huge vertical loop standing 110 feet tall. This coaster features 3 awesome inversions, 2 vertical loops and a sidewinder element. But the stars of the show for me are these forceful overbank turns, and then in the end this sharp aggressive bunny hop. And yeah, with no surprise, this coaster reaches a maximum speed of 63 miles per hour, and you can really feel that going through these elements. And sadly, Tennessee Tornado was one of the last roller coasters created by Aerodynamics. This roller coaster opened back in 1999. And yeah, the layout on this coaster is of course awesome, because Alan Schielke has designed it. And now coming in at spot number 3 we got Space Mountain located at Magic Kingdom. And the original Space Mountain for me is just the best Space Mountain overall. And if I should describe this roller coaster shortly, I think it's a bigger and better version of the Matterhorn Bobsleds. This heavily themed sci-fi roller coaster opened all the way back in 1975. This coaster features 2 symmetrical roller coaster tracks, but they aren't dueling. This coaster yet again is endless fun. You have many aggressive airtime pops and sharp turns. And the sensation of speed and intensity is just increased because it's pitch black in there. This one is by far one of my favorite family coasters in the whole world. Now coming in at spot number 2 we got Magnum XL 200 located at Cedar Point. And now we're yet again back at the legendary amusement park called Cedar Point, because this is where we got the huge hyper roller coaster called Magnum XL 200. And yeah, by the name of the coaster you could have guessed that this was the first full circuit hyper coaster in the whole world, exceeding 200 feet of course. Magnum XL 200 has an impressive speed of 72 miles per hour, and the length is 5,100 feet, so that's pretty lengthy. Because I'm an airtime lover, I love this roller coaster. It's filled with airtime everywhere almost. And not to mention, this turnaround section is also very forceful. But we all know the stars of the show on this coaster, and that is the last section with these so-called triangular airtime hills. And these might be the strongest airtime hills in the whole world, because they are very painful for many people. The possibility of getting bruised on this roller coaster is very high. And if you like me are over 6'4", it is really a tight squeeze going into this roller coaster, and you better watch out for your knees when you ride it. Now coming in at spot number 1 we got X2 located at Six Flags Magic Mountain. And for me it was really a close battle between this one and Magnum. And yeah, this is officially the last product created by Aerodynamics. And from 2002 to 2007 this coaster operated under the name of X. And X was the first of 3 intense and crazy looking 4th dimension roller coasters coasters around the whole world. And yeah, this coaster just features many awesome and bizarre elements. First of all, you have this huge vertical drop that is over 200 feet tall, and then you have a speed of 76 miles per hour. This coaster flies through bizarre elements, offering very strong positive G-forces, and it might be too intense for many people. And the program spinning on these rotating seats on X2 is what makes this roller coaster crazy. And yeah, yet again we're talking about an originally Aero created roller coaster, so this one is quite shaky. But X2 still deserves to be the greatest aerodynamics product ever, because this was the last one they created. And now we've finally gone through my personal top 10 list of the best aerodynamics coasters out there. And now I really want to know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you agree or do you disagree? And if you like theme park and roller coaster videos like these, please consider subscribing to my channel. And now at the end of the day, I'm always gonna say bye bye.